Shout out, the Connects. Luis Guzman. Don't ever go, never leave my side. Passion's all I have, courage is my drive. And if I lost you, I would lose it all together. I wouldn't have composure to get it back together. I don't want closure.
Welcome to another episode of I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman podcast, where we highlight the journey of entrepreneurs, creatives, and business people alike to showcase that every light and dark moment create a beautiful piece of art. I am your host, Luis Guzman, and we are brought to you by our sponsor of all things health and peptides, Hanobi Research. But my guest today is an artist when it comes to content strategy and telling a story that connects the dots for all business, new and old, that require new eyes in this evolving media space. A trailblazer in digital content and media, he has helped various companies such as BET, where he was their VP, and helped revamp and rebrand a legacy company into a digital powerhouse. He was the editor-in-chief at Vibe magazine and catapulted them out of the physical magazine model and into the virtual content world as the first leading digital publication. This man knows how to build brands and create partnerships that drive revenues for companies and deliver global reach through dedicated innovation and teamwork. His talents had led him to work with the likes of Bruno Mars, Leonardo DiCaprio, Drake, and massive brands such as Toyota, Netflix, Sony, and Lionsgate. In 2022, he took his talents and poured it into himself by founding and launching Levelman, a premier community-driven platform designed to empower Black men and dig deep on culture, identity, and everything to elevate your true self. A man with passion for fashion and film and digital innovation, with his eyes always on the pulse of the culture. Jermaine Hall, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Luis. Man, that intro, I need to take that. I need to lift it and just put it right on my LinkedIn. Like, that's incredible.
Seriously, thank you.
That is absolutely incredible. And I know, like, people always compliment you on your intros, but
yeah. You've been listening.
But you do a really good job.
Thank you. And it's crazy. I was just having this, come to Jesus moment the other day. Because, we figure out, we were talking off camera a lot about, our purpose and our gifts and what we're meant to be doing. And I'm like, you know what? A lot of people always mention my intros, and it was something I did off the cuff because of my artistry background. My biggest respect is someone's time. I would never want you to say, I should have never done this. Mm-hmm. So the only way to offer a bridge as you coming in here and not knowing me is I'm going to let the audience know articulately who you are and what you've done and give you your flowers before we even have one conversation.
Right.
So I really do hope that it resonated and I did my job.
No, it's a hell of an icebreaker. And it's something that's really hard to do. So I love to listen to Charlemagne.
I love Charlemagne.
In the morning.
Yes.
And when Charlemagne does Donkey of the Day.
Oh, he goes in.
I think people don't realize how difficult that is and how much work he's had to do to actually be able to nail that on a daily basis.
Yes.
Like, he's not coming in and reading off the cuff. Like,
he's planned.
He's put some thought into what he's going to say. I say that to say, like, I know how hard it is to do what you just did.
Thank you, man. No. And it's something that I guess, you hear something for 30 seconds. And yes, it's impactful. It sounds good. But to your point with Charlemagne, there's so much grind work that goes behind that no one really sees. It's like, the Kobe reference, 100 shots in the gym, but all you see is him putting up a championship. But you don't see, like, the sprints. You don't see the injuries. Right. You don't see the bruises, the missed shots, the stress. Like, there's so much that goes into everything. But to make it seem seamless and easy, I think that's the pure art.
100%. Yeah. I think making it seem easy, look easy, that comes with the talent. That's when the talent really shines.
Exactly. And, it's so funny you hit that on the head, because I, as somebody that studies media now and studies, a flow of conversation, seeing Charlemagne work in that space, like even his transitions when he's interviewing people or the Donkey of the Day, it's very detailed. Like, he's not just, and it's like sometimes a 4-minute segment on the show. And he's just like, I want to bring to the congregation, blah, 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 and he's going crazy, like all these facts and then adding his sauce to it. at the end, which is like another form of articulation and putting together. Like that's a lot. It's a lot.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah. Every time I hear him, I'm just like, yeah, he wrote that. He wrote that last night, and he's improvising as he goes. But he took time to really get a tight version of what he's dispersing to the audience right now before we actually get it.
Wow, we're sharing a brain because it's you took. I mean, a little inside baseball for the listeners. Like, I always write my intros the night before, and before you walked into this building, I had music on and I was dissecting this thing, and I changed 3 words since I was waiting for you. You would have never knew that, and as I read it, I guess this is from me being an artist back in the day. I see the word, but my brain sees something different, and I'm able to just catch the audible as I'm saying it and not miss a beat. So it's like I know exactly what you mean by that. You know, it keeps it fresh, and you're able to make it your own. It's like a living piece of art as you're saying it. You know what I mean? Man, so enough about Charlemagne though, man. Jermaine Hall. Let's talk about you, man. I always ask everybody this when they come on the podcast, and I'm going to ask you the same. Who are you? Who is Jermaine Hall?
Oh, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Jermaine Hall is someone who really strives to put a great idea together. I love to build a shell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once I build that shell, and once I've pressure tested that shell, then the joy really begins, which is finding the people that can help me put the shell together.
I love that.
So I think in my early days of journalism, you know, I was always one of the people that people would pluck to help put their vision together, because like I was a certain cog that they needed to do a very specific thing. And I love that role too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I think you have to thrive. You have to be able to thrive in that role to eventually get to be the visionary, and 100%. Then find the cogs to make it all work. But to get back to answering your question, yeah, I'm someone who really thrives at putting the big idea together, pressure testing the big idea, and then finding the people to make it happen.
Wow. I mean, it's like I told you off camera, visionary. Like you are able to see the 360-foot view from up top. And just like someone that's, you know, conducting an orchestra, just start putting pieces in places. I mean, put everything together in motion and find the team to build around that and to create your vision. And I like what you said about you were the cog in the wheel for other people. But the beauty of that, and correct me if I'm wrong, it helped you understand your true gift and how you can do it on your own because of all the hard work you put in.
Yeah, so I think being the cog, here's what happens when you're a good cog,
mm-hmm.
right? In a system. When you're a good cog in the system, the person who's the visionary more than likely ends up moving you to a different cog, a higher level cog,
mm-hmm.
because they start to see that you're capable of a lot more. So you're moving up. You've been, by the time you get to, let's say, an executive editor title of a cog, you've played so many positions, right? And you've learned to do so many things. You start to really understand how to build a business and how to make a business successful from soup to nuts.
Got it. Because you're at every level of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see like, you know, what's behind the curtain, essentially. And you start to formulate that in your mind.
Yeah. Well, I think it's not only seeing what's behind the curtain, but like you're doing all these different things at every single level. So, you know, and I think the plus in that is when you're building your own thing, you're able to do things at a CEO level, but if you have to, you can go all the way down and get a task done by yourself, if need be. You know, Morgan DeBaum, who is the CEO of Blavity, I heard her say this one time. She said, when I was building, when she was building Blavity, she was writing the stories. She was putting the stories out on social. She was running the P&L. She was doing all the things.
All the work.
So, and I think that that was really to her benefit when she was the CEO of the company, because when she was going about making her hires, I think she was able to see exactly who she needed. At every position, right? That's the other benefit to that too. It's like exactly what you need at every position based on the business.
It's a beautiful thing because I'm a big believer in this. I told you about the construction business that I'm in. I did it all, from digging the holes to picking up the concrete, picking up the material, dealing with different vendors, trying to get best pricing that I can, to selling, to making sure the guys are woke. There's so many, dealing with the townships, getting permits, keeping up with ordinances. There's so many levels. And I think to become successful as the founder or CEO of something, it's detrimental if you're not seasoned in those small other cogs as you work your way up, because that's where the sauce is. Everything that makes a company run starts from the bottom, from the ground up.
100%.
So the fact that you were able to be a part of a system where you were part of every facet of it, it just invigorated yourself to a whole nother level, understanding what is needed to run the business right. You know what I mean?
There's no way I would be able to do level if I didn't experience what I experienced at King, and then at Vibe, and then at BET. Like those were like so pivotal to me learning how to make successful content, both in the written word and video and audio, right? But beyond that, also learning how to manage people. Like, how do you actually motivate people to get what you need done with a business? And at BET, managing such a ridiculous budget, which, man, thank God, my time at BET was so critical to who I am now as an executive.
Really?
100%.
You were in the. Well, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Because coming from Vibe, where a lot of my role was creative, still managing up and managing down for sure. But I think at BET, the stakes were so much higher, and the opportunities to build new things were coming so fast. I had to learn a lot of things that I had never done before.
Gotcha.
On a level like that.
Man, and to be so resourceful, right? Because I think that's the key to anybody successful in business, is being resourceful, not knowing the answer and finding it. You're talking about going to BET and revamping the structure into a digital space, right? The unknown.
So, it's like it's that, and it's also when I came to BET, they had just brought on a new EVP of digital, and his name is Kay Madadi, from a Facebook guy, like one of amazing dude, legit one of the best bosses I've ever had in my life ever. But he was one who really strived for operational excellence across his entire organization. And what they tasked Kay with was really reimagining digital at the company. A big part of that was the Viacom Digital Studios, because they were still Viacom.
It was still in New York
at the time.
the,
They were in New York.
Broadway or 10. I forgot the address.
1540 Broadway.
There you go, 1540. Yep.
And the task was to create digital originals, right, that were not attached to any of the IP that Linear already had. So,
got it.
in other words, create shows, net new shows, and then figure out how we could go to the Facebooks and Snapchat and Twitter and sell those shows.
Make it all make sense.
To them. So they put BET, Comedy Central, MTV, and Nickelodeon.
Wow, Nickelodeon too.
Those 4 brands into the Viacom Digital, VDS, Viacom Digital Studio. And yeah, we created like all these cool original IP. And it was something that I had never done before.
Wow.
But I knew the right people who could make it
And
happen,
execute
and
it,
I was
yeah.
able to build that team fairly quickly.
What were some of the original shows you guys came up with?
Yeah, so Raid the Bars was probably that's not our biggest
Rate
show.
the Bars, I remember that. Yeah.
Raid the Bars was a big one. Finding was another big show for us, and like all these shows had like millions and millions of views organically.
Jeez.
Which was amazing. Access was a show that we did with this creator called P. I don't know if you remember Pio, who used to be big on Instagram.
If I see a picture, it will come back to me. But the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, and you know the idea behind that show was like Pio would go and experience like things out in the world that just cost an insane amount of money, like the golden toilet.
Yes.
Like,
oh, okay. I remember. Yeah.
And and come back and give his feedback on the product. It was actually the strategy we were implementing with that is the strategy that I see Revolt implementing now, which is go out, find a creator who already has a following. Right? Build a show around that person, right? Because they'll be able to bring their person to the party, right?
Correct.
So it's like the thing that you're building will already have a built-in audience.
Have legs.
Yeah.
They're doing that with music too.
Yeah, like Revolt is killing that strategy right now. They're doing a fantastic job with it, I think.
I mean, they have a niche where, I mean, even, I don't know, maybe it's 4 or 5 years ago during COVID, Jim Jones was doing that weatherman thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, back to the IP, I'm like thinking business, like this guy is probably getting a small check from Revolt, whatever the case is, but he's created a whole lane of IP for Revolt with this show. Same with Fat Joe when he was on there talking, and whoever, there's a couple of people I can't think. Method Man, I think, had something, but all these new shows in the space, and to your point, Revolt has been doing a great job with it, but not really seeing how far they themselves can take that, knowing that they're the talent that drives it. But then again, they're just another cog in the wheel of the actual network. You know what I mean?
100%. They're also the show that they do now with Cameron, Talk with Flea.
Talk with Flea.
Like that's
like
that's another
amazing.
example of
Crazy.
that. Yeah.
And the one with him and Mace, the sports show.
Yeah.
What's the name of their sport? I can't think of their sports show, and I was going to drive me nuts, man.
Sports show.
You would think I would remember. I remember Talk with Flea. I don't remember the other. But they have the sports show. It's going to drive me crazy. But yeah, that's also a Revolt-driven, IP as well, right?
Yeah, when they did Carisha with
Carisha, please.
Yeah, like that's same
that
strategy.
Was Revolt.
Same
strategy.
Yeah.
That's right. So
it's a no-brainer strategy.
Absolutely. But you were like the brainchild to this, if I can say, right?
I would say we were one of the first that I saw doing that strategy back at BET. But people have taken it to a way larger level than we were doing it.
It does speak to your, genius, if I should say, because you kind of saw this ahead of time before it became like the niche, I mean, not the niche, but the popular thing to do now. But you had that visionary mentality, with BET.
Yeah.
To see it through.
Yeah. There was two, like there was, when we got the mission to create original IP, couple things that I thought about, right? I was like, one thing that I know people are really passionate about is nostalgia, right? People love to see the folks that they grew up with when they were kids, and, music that they loved. They love to see them in anything, which is sort of like how we came up with Rate the Bars. We were just like, hey, look, let's create this game show, right? Where we mostly ask legacy MCs to blindly rate the bars of their contemporaries. Like, it's gonna be amazing.
It's amazing, yeah.
It's good because they have no idea. They have no idea who they're rating. They'll probably say some really, really funny things.
Unfiltered.
Yeah, completely unfiltered.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
And Joe Budden was actually the first person that we did, and that was the one.
Yeah, really, it was the first one. He doesn't hold any.
Joe blew us up. I would say Joe put us on the map with that episode, and then I think Remy put us in like another stratosphere because she also was
another
like
outspoken.
Yeah,
and entertaining.
Yeah, and then so and then going back to nostalgia. With Finding was the biggest show that we did at BET, but super easy concept. It was like, you know what? We haven't heard from, I'm just going to give us an example. We haven't heard from Tweet for like a really long time. Let's go down, sit with her and figure out like exactly what she's been doing. Let's tell the story of how she got on, how she blew up, where things started to fall off. But like most importantly, like, what are you doing now?
Gotcha.
And those episodes through the roof. They were like 3 million plus every single episode.
It's to your.
We couldn't produce them fast enough.
Wow, the need for it was so because again, touching on the nostalgia part, right? Tweet, and it's funny you say that as an example, but really, where is Tweet? You know what I mean?
Right,
But again, I guess an artist like that has been in the public eye for so long. Oh, let's see what they're up to. And for someone that, music is connected to the heart. It's something that I can listen to a song and it brings me right back to that moment when I was first listening to it and the feelings and what I was going through in life at that time. That's the connection. The show is one thing, right? But the show is basically just a conduit to this person's mind and their feel, and that's why they love the show so much.
100%. And and so I think the strategy I came up with, right? Like I can take credit for the strategy. Let's dig into nostalgia. Let's find our footing there. But I always want to give credit to like the people who actually created the shows. Like I'm not the creator of any of those shows, right?
Yeah.
I'm just the creator of the strategy. But I found amazing, really talented producers and content folks who were able to build those shows within the strategy.
Yeah, so I say you're kind of overseeing it, so to speak. Yeah. But then you got to have the people in place.
You've got to find the people.
They got to, yeah, I can go sell a fence, right? I don't make it.
Right.
I don't install it. I just know how to sell it. But I'm able to put the pieces in play to get it done correctly. And you're not as good as you're not bigger than the program, right? So you can have the strategy all down packed and it was your vision, but your team makes it happen.
100%.
Without the team, you're nobody.
Nobody. It doesn't work.
And something we were talking about off camera. I'll ask you now, is I'm curious to know, how did you learn this? Because it feels like you have this intuitive kind of a sixth sense to leading and understanding people. Did you learn that as a young kid, as a young age? Was it something your father or your mother instilled in you? Like, how did Jermaine learn how to really manage people, personalities, and put together a team? Where did that come from?
I think it goes back to I was always the quiet guy on the schoolyard.
Gotcha.
But always very, very observant of people and understanding, how people moved, how I could motivate people while still being the quiet guy. You know, it's like I have this line, right? Like, I'm never going to be the loud person in the room, like ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always going to be the person with the plan.
I like that.
Always going to be the person with the plan. I'm always going to have the blueprint to get to where we need to go without having to be loud and boisterous. But to answer your question, I think from me being observant when I was a kid all the way through my teenage years, you know, I've always just been able to get input on like how people are and what motivates people and what makes a person tick. And then I know how to motivate them. I know how to motivate them from just looking and seeing and taking a step back.
Wow, you're a studier. You study
all the time.
Analyze, you know.
I analyze, and I do a ton of reading, and I think that also allows me to really like figure out what the archetypes are. Like I can usually tell, and you know, what a person is like fairly quickly.
Gotcha.
You know.
Yeah.
Again, not like not being overboard. Like sometimes I don't even have to say a word to you. I can just be observing you for like several days, and I can tell what kind of person you are. Yeah.
And I felt that too when we met off camera. I was like, oh, I like the subtleness and you have like a pensive but calm demeanor.
Always.
You're calm, but you're thinking. And I saw that a mile away. Oh, he's a thinker. And I love that because I'm also a thinker, but I'm also very, I'm also very forthcoming, and I like to make people feel comfortable, but I do understand your method of seeing, understanding, breaking down, and then seeing where the connection can be.
Yeah.
And go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was going to say I think it's an interesting skill to have in today's time, because today's time, I think, rewards the person who is like very out there and very boisterous and very much a personality. So I think now it's like now is the time for the thinkers to figure out like how do we have impact.
Correct. And to add to that point, and not to give you a slight pushback, but maybe just a question. I feel that the people you see online that are so boisterous and loud, but you see them in person and they're like a shell of the person they are. They're like, I don't know if I'm just the old man in the room now, but all these, and I never wanted to be like that, but all these kids have no personality. Am I crazy? They have no personality. They look at their phone before they look in your eyes, and they're talking to you like, yeah, so you're Jermaine? Like, I guess, yeah. Yeah, here's my Instagram. It's like, what the hell is going on? Are we in the Twilight Zone? I mean, so I wanted to ask you that. Do you think that's also an issue that's happening today, where people are just too introverted and don't even get you a chance to analyze them?
So it's a good question. I went to this industry event. It was a fashion event, and I pulled the publicist aside, and I was like, man, this is a really interesting room that you have going on here, because one, people aren't really conversing; they're not really speaking to each other, but everyone is doing something. Everyone is capturing content and making content. But the question I had for us is like, I was like, how networking was such a big thing for us always, right? Like that's how we built our relationships. That's how we were able to like plug into different people and really get to the next level. That's not, from what I'm looking at, that's not really happening here. How is network happening? Or is it just not happening?
Maybe it's not happening. Yeah, because I come from the world, and you'll understand this. when I was an artist trying to get into the game, I would go to events. I would go to listening sessions, had a CD in one hand, had a card in another hand. There was no selfie being taken. Like, I remember me and Pete Rock. I'm like, yo, I did a mixtape over your songs. Can we work together? Here, take my MySpace. Like, let's, but just the conversations I had with him, those were priceless. Versus you have that interaction today, and it's like, let me take a picture with you, and I'm gonna post it. Like, but there's no connection. Like, what are we achieving here? Where's the networking happening? To your point, so it's a strange time. It's a very strange time, and I'm still getting used to it because I do this, and people come and sit down with me, and they're just like, "Oh, you're just like a normal." Regular, I'm like, yeah,
right.
Like, he's like, what are we gonna? We're gonna have a conversation. Yeah, those things still happen. You know what I mean? It's like conversations now are fine pieces of art because no one has them in real life. What we're doing right now, Jermaine, this is a fine piece of art that people will listen to for hours on the train because they probably can't do it themselves.
A group of us, right, a couple weeks ago. Through a good friend of mine, like, but Busta Rhymes does this thing where he calls a crew together. It's always the same crew too, right? Of like, it's a mix of journalists and A&Rs that, like, who've been covering him for like many, many, many decades, and he's built a rapport with, and he really respects their opinion. And these are always fun gatherings, right? Because it's like, he'll order food and there's drinks there, and we're just listening to music. And, Busta played 3 different albums that night, right? Mm-hmm. No one there was on their phone. And we were there for 4 hours.
Wow.
There was no one on their phone checking anything.
That's the kickback.
It was just giving feedback, right? Like, someone invited us to a space to give feedback, have a conversation about the industry, where things are, where music is, and play music. And it's like, if we were like this, that would have probably been pretty disrespectful to him.
Absolutely. And Busta Rhymes is old school. Like, he comes from that cloth of, Extinction Level Event. I mean, like, he understands real hip hop, but also understands that time frame where conversations were being had. Like, there were no cell phones. Like, to be entertained, you had to speak to each other. You had to build dialogue. You had to come up with ideas. Artists used to be in the same studio making songs together. That's why the music was so much better.
Right.
And now everything gets sent through a zip file, and I do my part, take your part. Like, it was never like that before. It's like somewhere down the line, even though I love media and I love digital and I love where the space is because we're able to connect and have these conversations worldwide. But man, I feel like the essence of humanity is like kind of compromised within that,
Yeah. How do you feel? Let me ask you this, because this is, I'm hearing this report a lot now that Gen Z is starting to move back to analog things. They want to be less online. They want to listen to records. They want to start buying cassettes. They want to purchase magazines again. That's a movement that allegedly is happening. And I'm thrilled for it.
I'm with that. Yes.
I'm thrilled
I'm
for
all
it.
for it. Yeah, seriously. It's funny you say that, Jermaine, because I literally, I was cleaning out one of my, I think it was the garage, like maybe like a month or 2 ago, and I found some of my old music, like CDs. Whoa, what's a CD, right? And I found these albums. Just not my music, but I'm talking about like Reasonable Doubt. Like, I got the 96 edition, like from Freeze Records, like the old, like one of the first runs, and like Late Registration, College Dropout. Like, whoa, look at all these albums. I forgot I had them.
Right.
And I went to look for a CD. I had no CD player. God bless my wife. She her car's paid off. She said, I'm not getting another one till I need to. She got like a 2015 Honda. and that has a CD player.
Wow.
So I literally have to take joyrides in her car, which is also nostalgic because that's what we did back in the day. When a new album came out, I'm ripping the packaging, I'm looking at the credits, I'm taking a drive, I got music on. Like, to your point, yeah, there's a need for that. And I think even the kids now, like the 20-year-olds, the 25-year-olds, they're wearing Tupac shirts. Right. They're wearing NWA shirts. They're wearing Aerosmith shirts. Like, they also want to tap into that nostalgia. They just don't know how to, I think, you know?
Yeah, so in my house, I have this thing called the analog room, right?
Whoa.
And in that room, there's a TV on the wall. There's a CD player on the wall. There's about 1,500 CDs.
Wow.
Right? All alphabetical.
Jeez, that's how I used to be. Alphabetical, yeah, that's crazy.
There's a DVD player and a VCR.
Come on. Is there a Nintendo in there?
There's no games in there, unfortunately.
Okay.
Unfortunately. But my sons and I love that room. We go in and we play CDs all the time.
Wow, man. And how old are your sons? Your kids?
I've got two. One is the oldest is 18.
Okay.
And the youngest is 10.
Wow. And they love doing that with you.
Love
it's
it.
like a bonding thing as well.
Oh my God, they love it so much.
Well, you're definitely doing the right parenting. I'll tell you that. How does that feel for you to see your 18-year-old and 10-year-old like really like interested, not just like, all right, dad's making us do this. Like they're really into it. Like,
yeah, the 18-year-old he's always been like an old spirit. So
nice.
You know, it feels like there's nothing new for him there. The youngest, it was a challenge with the youngest, right? Because, you know, the youngest he was just like, why would you ever pop this thing in to hear music? Like,
they only knew.
Just stream it. Like, what are you talking about? I've got everything that you have, every CD that you have, I have right here.
And I can picture him doing that too. Like, thinking he's smarter than you. What was your rebuttal to him?
I don't know that I really had a great rebuttal, but he loves film. Like, nice. Film is his thing.
Okay.
You know, like we go to the movie theater when I say we go to the movie theater every week, that's not an exaggeration. Every week. I
love that.
We go to the movie theater. So even though the CDs weren't like necessarily appealing to him, those DVDs that I have in the room, very appealing to him.
Wow, he has a heart for film.
Loves it.
Where does that come from?
Loves it. I think it's a routine. It's a tradition that I started with my first son.
Okay.
So you know what happens? Your sons get older, and then they want to go hang out with their friends rather than you.
Yeah.
And he kind of just slotted himself right in, but was way more passionate than my first son was about just like that whole process of like going to the movies, grabbing the popcorn, grabbing the Coke, and sitting down and watching a movie. Infatuated, like loved it. Like right after this, we're going to the movie.
Oh, nice. Good stuff. What are you guys watching?
We're gonna go see what's the name of this film, man? It's playing at Cinemark. They're letting it out a week early. The premise of the film is this boss gets shipwrecked with one of his employees on an island, and he's like a terrible boss.
Yes, I saw the preview. That looks good.
Yeah.
I know exactly. It's a horror film, but it's not. It's like a thriller. But he's like douchey to his worker, and he gets stuck on the island, and she takes over. I seen the trailer. That's awesome. That's out already?
It comes out next week, but Cinemark is showing like a prewiew at 6:00.
Oh, there's a Cinemark 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah, which
I'm in Old Bridge, so
okay.
You're talking Hazlitt, Cinemark in Hazlitt.
Okay, yeah, I go to the one on Route 22.
Oh, there is a Cinemark there.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that's the Watchung one.
Watchung.
I love that one. The XD theater.
Yep.
See, now we're getting into that.
Exactly.
I'm a big movie guy, man. Like you're talking to me about your kids and going to me and my wife. We try to go minimum twice a month, and it's a nostalgia thing.
Right.
It's like we saw Jaws. When
I
it
went
came-
to see
You saw the 50th anniversary?
Hell yeah.
Come on.
Hell yeah.
Steven Spielberg was a genius. The
Oh
way
my
he
gosh.
shot that.
Oh my gosh.
Like, people don't understand how hard it is to film in actual real water. And he had the guys there for months. They went over budget. I'm a nut. I saw the documentary, everything. Like,
Right.
they went to so many leaps and bounds to film that. And now, and people think, oh, it's a movie, just like, oh, it's a song. But no, that movie inspired Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele was saying that intro with the girl in the ocean, but you don't see the shark,
see the
but you
shark.
know there's something there, and then
Yeah.
that's magic.
Crazy.
That's magic.
You know what I didn't remember about that film until I saw, the 50th anniversary re-release, and I was glad I got to experience that on the big screen.
In the big screen.
I did not realize how long that the last bit of the film where they're in the water looking for the shark.
Mm-hmm.
That's happening for a really long time.
Yeah, it was a long portion of the film. I remember as I was watching
I don't
it.
remember it that way.
No, for me, it felt so fast for me. But I guess now, the older you're getting, you're more in tune to every detail. And you do think like, whoa, that was a long scene. Like, it was daunting. I was almost getting anxious. Like, when are they going to get But you know the ending.
Right.
But you're
right.
still like, come on, like, when is this going to finish? And it just kept, but that's where Spielberg's magic is. He's just so great
He's
at
incredible.
navigating a scene and telling the story. Like, he is just one of the most phenomenal directors of our time.
He is absolutely incredible. We'll watch. I've seen Goonies. It's got to be
Classic, man.
500 times at
Goonies,
this point.
Oh my God.
But
E.T.
no matter when you watch that film, you watch it as a kid, teenager, young adult, middle aged, like, it holds up every
holds
time.
up,
Every
yeah.
single age that you're at, it holds up for you.
It's a beautiful thing to know that there's certain pieces of art that no matter how old you get or no matter how old the art is, I can talk about a song, or I could talk about a movie in your case, but it's like, to your point, it still has that magic. And if it's really good, you get something totally different out of it that you didn't expect. Like, I'm big on, like, what are those things called when you're watching a movie? Easter eggs. Right. So one of my favorite films is Departed. You ever seen The Departed?
Absolutely.
So I noticed, and again, it's like, I can see it, but I wasn't sure of it. Whenever there was a death in the movie, there was always an X somewhere in the film. Like, you could see an X at the, I'm sorry, any spoiler alerts or something. I mean, it's an old movie. You should have watched it. Yeah. When Mark Wahlberg kills Matt Damon's character at the end of the movie, there's an X on the carpet. When there's another scene where Martin Sheen dies, and there's an X in the building. And I was just like, that's funny. And then when Jack Nicholson dies, there's an X behind Matt Damon in the framing of the building. And then I saw a documentary, and they're like, yeah, that was an ode that Martin Scorsese did to one of the directors he loved growing up, where they use X's whenever there was a death in the movie. And I'm like, it's like small stuff like that, but if it makes me feel even more appreciative of the art.
Yeah, Martin is an absolute genius. And, I'm glad that he is doing work with Leo.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the parallels of them not being rewarded for their work, it doesn't matter, right? Because they're legends, and everyone understands their genius. But I wish the Academy would have rewarded Scorsese more for his work. And I see the same thing happening with Leo now. Like, Leo only has one
The Revenant, right?
Best Actor, for The Revenant.
Yeah.
And, he got the nomination for, I forget the name of this film that just came out.
One Battle After Another.
One Battle After.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. I loved it.
What'd you think?
I thought it was amazing.
Amazing.
Like, incredible
Listen,
film.
oh my God. I mean, go ahead. I don't want to cut you. Now we're getting excited. I'm getting excited, man.
But what I see, because I'm just looking at the narrative, and like what I think is going to happen, I think they're going to end up giving Timothy the Best Actor award for
For
Marty Supreme.
Marty Supreme. Which did you see Marty Supreme?
I did see Marty Supreme. Yeah.
Give me your thoughts before I tell you mine.
I think it's a fine movie with a great performance from Timothy, but it's really lacking in a lot of areas. The end was so. It's not poorly done, but I didn't fully understand. I was like, wait a minute, like he is not going to the championship, but like this is the conclusion of the film. This is how you guys are going to conclude the story about this guy that is like ultra driven.
Mm-hmm.
And his end is this, again, it's like, it's not the championship. It's like this made up competition between him and this guy that is the best in the world, who is going to go on to the actual championship,
Right.
and compete to be the best in the world. I don't know.
It's weird, right? I don't know if it's the Safdies, if that's their way of like even the Smashing Machine was, to me, it wasn't what I expected.
Right.
And I don't know if the Safdie brothers just like shock or like to throw you totally off course. I didn't see Marty Supreme. I read the reviews because I was like against watching it, because after I heard the reviews, I was like, I'm not going to waste money to go watch this. And I read all the spoilers and everything. I'm like, this kid sounds like a douche. And like, he didn't learn his lesson. Like, he was just being disrespectful to everybody. Yeah. That's what I got from it. But a lot of the reviews were like, it didn't go anywhere. Like, he just was still that person. He just had a good cry.
Right.
You know,
right.
Was that kind of how it ended?
I will say, yeah, it ends with like this. There's this exhibition bout that he ends up having with the person who's ranked number 1 in the world.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Ping pong exhibition match. The thing is, like a couple weeks after, I think like a week after, like the actual championships is being held, and he's not a part of that. And I was just like, this.
What? That's how it ended?
Like, this is ridiculous.
That's how it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that said, I do think Timothy did a fabulous job.
He's an
with
amazing
that role.
actor. He's an amazing
He
actor.
was incredible.
So he was good in the role.
Amazing.
Okay. Okay.
Killed it. Absolutely bodied it. Very flawed movie, unfortunately.
Which is also on brand for the Safdie brothers. I think the best movie they ever made was Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Yes.
That is poetry in motion.
That's fun.
Like, that movie made you feel like you're on a ride. It made you literally feel like you were on a roller coaster the entire time. Same thing with One Battle After Another. Whoever did the score for that movie, let me tell you, I was angry. I was upset. I was telling my wife as we were watching this, she didn't want to see the movie. That's why we didn't see it in the movie theater. So we saw it on HBO when it came out.
Okay.
And after we saw it, it's funny because she was on her phone, and little by little, she's just like, and then the phone goes down, and now she's in it because she didn't want to see it. She said,
Right.
This looks stupid. And Sean Penn, she's a big Sean Penn fan, and man, his acting, that's another level. That's
killed it.
Come on.
Did he get a nomination for supporting?
He got a nomination for supporting. He did get a nomination for supporting.
Okay, cool.
But
great.
I hope they don't play him on this, because that guy to me was living, breathing, freaking crazy army guy, racist, you name it. He owned that role. You know, like,
so good.
Oh my God, the end with his daughter. Whoa. I was like, what are we watching right now? This is wild. This is crazy. Like, I was like, he's waiting for the, spoiler alert, he's waiting for like the pregnancy test to show up to see if that's his daughter, and then all this angst around it, and then he takes her, and Leo's just like in La La Land trying to find his daughter. It was just amazing.
Yeah. That movie never slows down.
No, it's like a constant.
It's like there's just pandemonium the entire time. Like, what is happening?
Yes.
I can't go get popcorn. Like, nothing.
No, you couldn't use the bathroom. I had the luxury of pausing it because I'm at home. But after, I appreciated that movie more in retrospect. Like, when I saw it, I was like, that's a good film. And I literally told my wife like a couple days ago, damn, babe, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
That movie like resonated. It's one of those that I can watch it again because it just had that impact, that effect. But that's also Leo. That's also the actors you put around him. You know,
So-
what's the Spanish guy? Is it Benicio del Toro?
Benicio, yeah,
Amazing.
he's great in it.
Oh, he's out of just his character. It was just so like he was like the cool guy, but somehow he always figured it out and made it work for Leo. He's like, oh, come on, you're good, man. You want a beer? You know, like it was just so par for the. Like, he was the best to do that. The best to do that.
But so the point I wanted to make is
Sorry, we got off track.
No, it's okay. what I see happening with both Marty and Leo is I feel like they're not going to get like the credit that they deserve. And like I said, they're loved, they're legends. Everyone understands that. I feel like they're not going to have enough hardware.
I agree.
That they should have.
Which I don't understand why that is. It doesn't compute in my mind, like how these great actors are not going to get their just due. And then it'll be like some random, I don't know, no shot at the whale, but like, Brendan Fraser did an amazing job. But it was one of the most disgusting films I ever seen in my life. And they give it to him, You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild. It's crazy.
It's,
you know?
It's, I don't, like Daniel Day-Lewis has like, I think he has like 3, right? He has like 3 of them.
Yeah. And I think one was for Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy was literally.
And he's
Lincoln.
awesome. He's amazing. He's incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
incredible.
But I don't know, like Leo not winning for Wolf of Wall Street was crazy to me.
Let me tell you something. I almost threw something at the TV when I found that out. I was so. Listen, you know what it is? I get it. Oh, it's a drug movie. It's about greed and drugs. But so what? He bodied that. He took that on. He was Jordan Belfort. You can't take nothing away from that. But then he goes and eats a wild pig in Revenant, and then you give him the because he's like, what? It's like, oh, so now we just have to eat pigs or be like a 600-pound obese person to get an award.
Do you know how hard it is
to channel that energy?
So the runtime on Wolf of Wall Street, it's like 320, 330.
Okay.
It's long.
It's a long movie.
It's a long movie.
But you're engaged.
And people watch that movie over and over. And it's not a 2-hour movie where it's like, all right, I knock out like 120 minutes. Like, it's a long movie.
It's long. And to be engaged for so long, and it's par for the course, it tracks with Martin Scorsese. Where I remember the first time I saw that in the movie theater, 10 minutes in, an elder couple walked out. And I'm like, yep, this is Martin Scorsese. Same thing happened in Taxi Driver. I heard stories that when Taxi Driver came out, everybody started walking out.
Really?
Yeah, I saw, have you seen the Martin Scorsese doc on Apple?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, you would love that. They go through his whole like anthology of movies, like everything he's ever done, with Mean Streets to Taxi Driver to, you would love that. You being a movie guy, please, that's a treat. Me and my wife saw that, it was amazing. But that's why I learned all these stories as well. Like, wow, this guy was facing backlash when they didn't want to pull Casino out. They didn't want to release it because of all the cursing. Another 3-hour film. Same with Goodfellas. It's too violent. He's been faced with backlash forever, and he fights so hard for the hardware, it doesn't give it to him.
Right.
But the art that he makes, it's polarizing. It's something. It's the reason why you and me are conversing about this right now, because it's polarizing art. No one cares about the obese guy. I'm sorry, I'm not knocking The Whale, but who really did you like that movie? Did you like The Whale?
I didn't even watch The Whale. First of all, like when there's a swath of movies that you need to watch to prepare for the Oscars or prepare for the Golden Globes or whatever it is. That was one I was just like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna watch that.
I was so disappointed when I saw it.
Really?
My wife was like disgusted. She's like, I can't even. If I think about that movie, I want to throw up. And I get it. Listen, he did a great job, but man, like that, it's almost like they want to award the most vulgar, out of this world role, the hardware, versus somebody that can just create engagement that's relatable, like a Leonardo DiCaprio or like a Timothy Chalamet or Denzel Washington. He had to be a dirty cop
You have to be
to win an Oscar.
Right. Yeah.
The guy is amazing.
He's like him not getting it for Malcolm X was like that was another
That's a slap
miss.
in the
That was a
face.
miss.
But it's like, when do we get to, like, I heard today, Sinners, 16 nominations. Oh boy, I don't even want to. Michael B. Jordan did amazing work on that film, but not just him, but what was what's the guy's name with the song? I can't think of his name. Oh God, he got nominated too. I can't think of the artist's name. It'll come to me though. But the music, the costumes.
Raphael Sadiq.
Raphael Sadiq.
Yeah.
They nominated him too. So it's like,
yeah,
all like that movie hits every point, but we all know, because we've been there before, don't be surprised if they get 3 or 4 versus 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Which is also sad because it's, go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
So I actually do think that Sinners will walk away with all of the technical
I said the same thing. Yeah.
wins. Because they really, I think the way that the movie was made, Hollywood and the Academy actually really respects that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they'll give them their nods for that. But the big categories,
actor, movie of the year,
director,
actress,
best director, I don't think they're going to give them.
And I think I forgot the director's name. Keeb, God, I can't think of his name. He did Creed 3 with him too.
Yeah, and
God.
Black Panther.
Yes, Black Panther.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe I don't remember his name.
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler. I said Keegler. Ryan Coogler.
Ryan, yeah. I mean, it would be amazing. We still don't have a Black director who's won Best Director.
He would be
the first.
He would be the first. I didn't even think about. That's crazy.
He would be the first.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Why?
Spike hasn't gotten one.
Spike never got one?
Spike doesn't have a Best Director. Nope. I think they
Do the
gave
Right
Spike
Thing?
an honorary Oscar. No.
Crooklyn? Like, I can think of.
John Singleton also lost when he was nominated.
Get out of
for
here.
Boys
in the Hood.
Yeah.
Another amazing movie.
Yeah. I think Barry Jenkinson lost. I can't remember who he lost to, but Barry Jenkinson also lost.
Wow. I never thought. Well, now that you think about it, Halle Berry was probably the first, right? Actress.
And only.
She's the only. She's the only one.
She's the only. Still the only.
Oh, that's crazy, man. I'm Puerto Rican. Don't even get me started on Spanish people. I'm like, I see Benicio del Toro. I'm like, yay. It's go ahead.
It's kind of, it's why, and I think we struggle with this at Level, and we need to figure it out. But a big part of Level and why Level was created, one, I always felt like, at my time at BET and my time at Vibe, I just always felt like Black men just never really had a space, a vehicle that like we could go to and like get all the information that we needed to get. Because it's like, I don't know, I felt like we're always like these like digital nomads, and we have to go from place to place to get all the information.
Gotcha.
That we need, but there's not many brands that really wholly like focus on us. There's no home base for us. And I wanted to create that, but a large part of creating that, one of the big content buckets that we had was race and identity, right? Like we really like sunk our teeth into
owned it,
into that, and with everything that's going on with like DE&I, I think we've had to like take a step back and like figure out, well, how do we actually reposition that in a way that brands feel comfortable knowing that, this is still going to be a tent pole for Level.
I see what you mean. It's you're standing on that. It's the culture. It's your love letter to the Black men out there that need a space to feel like, okay, this is me. This is where I can get my information. This is my community, so to speak.
100%.
But not to tell the brands, listen, we're not, we want to work together, obviously, right? But we're not moving on what our mission statement is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. But I think the headwinds that we're coming up against is, because because the administration that is in power right now
Mm-hmm.
they've drawn a line in the sand that,
That's
we're not
ridiculous, though,
going
man.
to we're not
No,
going
but
to be supporting DE&I initiatives anymore.
why can't we just go back to the basic element of being a human being and a person, and then work from that point of view? It's something that I struggle with because I guess it's hard. I guess I'm more biased because I was born and raised in Newark. That was my hometown.
Right.
And I was raised around, obviously poverty for the most part of the life, but around Black, brown. And then when I started I moved to Hillside. And that's where I saw the shock, where I was the only Puerto Rican and everybody else in the room it was me, maybe two Black kids, and then everybody else was white or Jewish.
Right.
That's all it was.
Wow.
And Hillside back then, and to this day, a big Jewish community. But the shock for me, right, was the way I was treated. But I was and it's still with me to this day. I always just looked at people as people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't look at them like, oh, you're green, so I can't talk to you. You know what I mean? It's like, no, come all. Like, I take everyone, like, I pride myself on having diverse friends and relationships, but not because it's my cool thing to do and my badge of honor. No, it's actually my life.
Right.
I embrace everybody from all walks of life. But I've had that from a childhood perspective of being around that to understand it versus, like you said, the administration today, a lot of those people are not connected to what we had to go through or what we seen growing up, et cetera, et cetera. So I can understand the disconnect, but I can't understand the mending of trying to connect. Like, why can't we try to connect? What's the red tape?
I think so. I think the red. I don't know if it's necessarily red tape, but I think it's more of a perspective. I think the perspective is feeling that they have been wronged because of. I think they feel like because of the DEI initiatives, their feeling is that people are getting jobs and people are being rewarded not because they're necessarily the best person for the job, but just because they fit a quota, which couldn't be further from the truth, by the way.
Gotcha.
Like, I still think no matter what the situation is, Black and brown folks always have to be 2 times, 3 times better.
All the time. I've experienced that. Yep.
To get the gig.
And then, like, to keep the gig, you have to go even more above and beyond.
100%.
And I again, it's, you don't know what you don't know till you know. And, I told you I worked corporate Walmart back in the day. And I was like the token, guy to walk people around. And I'm walking with, shareholders, guys coming from Great Britain, United Kingdom, and blah, blah, blah. And I had that New York, New Jersey kind of lingo, and I made everybody feel comfortable. And, but I had to be so much more aware of numbers and statistics and make sure my tie was the right way, where someone else could just walked in with jeans on and get the same respect. I get it. I get it. Yeah. It stinks that we're living in that world still where we got to keep proving ourselves when we already won the damn thing.
Yeah, it's on. We have this column at Level that it's called The Only Black Guy in the Office, and it's syndicated by Fast Company. They run it every other week. But
Nice.
the premise behind this column is this black guy. He is literally the only black guy in his office, and he lives in Seattle. He works at a marketing company. And he writes about his experiences being an only black guy in this very corporate setting. It's super,
What's-
super funny and hilarious.
I can imagine. Can you share a little bit of it or what he talks about?
Yeah, like he'll talk. I'm trying to think of what was the last one. So the last one that he wrote was about his out of office email. Like, he was figuring out what he was gonna put. Like you put like your obligatory, I'll be gone for the holidays. I won't be
Out of
checking.
the office. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
And his column, this specific column was about like, I wish people could actually be super real and like put what they really wanted to put on their out of office emails.
The real truth that we don't want to.
But it was, it was super hilarious. So,
I got to check that out.
it's a great column, and it's man, the columns, it's about 4 or 5 years old. That column is.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's been around for a while. Like I said, Fast Company has been very supportive of the column, and now we're trying to figure out, because he has a look, because the columns are all illustrated, so he has a look, but it's text based. So now we're trying to figure out like, how do we actually migrate it into the next thing? Like, can we make it like a short animation? Is that where we go with it next? Like, is there an only black guy in the office pod? Like, is that like the next iteration? But, trying to figure out how we take it past being
Get to
just,
the IP.
Yeah, yeah.
Making it an actual. Now you're the second person I've had on the show that's spoke about animation and making a cartoon. I mean, there's a space for it if it's done the right way and if it can relate to the audience, but there has to be some grassroots to it. How you already have the grassroots for 5 years doing this, so
Yeah.
it only makes sense to take it to the next level and to make another IP out of it that's going to keep breathing and growing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he needs to come alive.
Yes.
Outside of just the words.
No, seriously. No, I agree, because there's a need for it. Because some people, you read something, you become attached to it because you probably feel the same way he feels. And now you're reading it all the time, and now you want something more. It's like, as humans, we consume to the point that, okay, we're kind of tired of this. Now we need something different. Same thing, but I want it different. I want it shown to me differently so I can appreciate it more and then get all wrapped up into it again.
100%.
So I think that's like the hook. Like, how can we get the hook now to continue this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I read this speaking of hooks, I read this when I was doing my research for Level. You were able to fund over $500,000 to get this started.
Yeah. So Level was, just to go back a little bit, Level was.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to hear the story.
Yeah,
That's why.
100%. So I pitched it. I pitched the idea to Ev Williams, and Ev is like one of the original co-founders of Twitter, and
Oh wow. Okay.
and he also owns Medium, but he was looking for premium publications at the time, and specifically he was really he was looking for publications that spoke to an AA audience, because he wanted to find those people who could come to Medium and then convert them, right? Because they don't have a large AA audience. So pitched him the idea. He was like, "Oh yeah, this is great. I think there could be like immediate like product market fit for it." Once we launched, we grew pretty quickly on Medium. Like, we were able to grow it to a million uniques like fairly quickly. And that's because there's different from like being on the open web. There's just so many levers that you can pull within the Medium ecosystem to help grow an audience, and to make sure that audience is loyal. So we did that. He was a fan of the content, a fan of the voice. I thought it was a very voicey brand. And he came to me in 2022, and he was just like, "Look, have an idea. Let's migrate this off of Medium, right? I'll come in. I'll be your principal backer.
Nice.
And let's see if we can make some noise." on the open web. He's also been very big. Like he was always very big on experiences. Like he felt that, the brand was cool as a site and the social channels, like that was cool. But he was just like, I feel like IRL events is where like you could really make some noise and like
100%.
actually bring Black men together. And
100%.
so yeah, 2022 we migrated to the open web, and then we've been rocking like ever since.
I see the work, man.
Yeah.
That's why. I mean,
It's been super fun. It's also been really, really hard.
Oh yeah, no, that's well, everything that's fun is always hard work before you get to that point, but
Right.
but rewarding, no?
Oh, so rewarding.
Right?
So rewarding. And going back to storytelling, and how important storytelling is. Like I think at each of my places, at least the places where I was in the lead role, I've always tried to like produce content. Like I asked myself this question, right? Like this piece of content that I'm creating, like, is it still gonna be relevant like 10 years from now? Like, is it useful? Is it gonna be useful 10 years from now? And, I think when you're producing content that is so attached to celebrity, it's not, a lot of times the answer to that ends up being no.
Understood, yes.
Right?
For the time or whatever.
Yeah. But the thing with Level, it was the first time that I didn't have to depend on celebrity to actually make the thing that I wanted to make, Like,
I see what you mean. Yes.
like when we look at those core content buckets for us, right? It's race and identity, right? That's an important
That's a
bucket
big
for.
one.
I don't need celebrity for that at all.
No.
The second biggest bucket is I like to call it the life bucket, right? And then within that bucket, it's fatherhood, it's financial literacy, it's mental health.
Ooh, okay.
It's health and wellness, sex and relationships.
Love it.
I don't really need celebrity for any of that.
No, those live
Right?
on their own.
And to me, that is the most important bucket, because like I think if we're really nailing that bucket, that's where we're really providing a service to Black men. And then the third bucket, the culture bucket, like, yeah, that's where we kind of like do need the celebrity stuff for,
Let's go get
kind of.
Usher.
But it's like, right. But
Yeah.
it's like, the question that I wanted to ask myself, and going back to the point of like, is this content going to be relevant 10 years from now? It's like, I can't speak to Usher about like his Super Bowl performance, and I can't speak to Usher about just music in general. But what if we have a conversation with Usher about his parenting philosophy, right? And like, how do you go about parenting your kids? And you have a blended family. How do you go about like navigating this blended family? Like, to me, those are like core content subjects that I think will be relevant like 10 years
man.
down the line, right?
Wow. Yes, I agree.
So I think that's the change that we had to make. It was like, when we're doing these covers and we're dealing with celebrity, what's the core theme that we can plug into that is going to be relevant, and frankly, it's going to be different from like everything else that they're doing on this press run that they're doing, because they're speaking to many people, right? And they're frankly probably very bored about talking about the thing that they do on a day-to-day basis, and would rather talk about things that they're actually passionate about in their lives. So that's what I try to like, like really like tap into. It's like, with Mike Tyson, we didn't talk about boxing not once. Like, there was no boxing questions.
Wow, that's awesome. But that's awesome though, because those are the loaded questions that everyone always asks.
Yeah.
And he's probably bored and sick of it.
The interview and the conversation, it was really steeped in, hey man, you're in your 50s. You've been an incredible physical specimen your entire life. You're not that anymore. Like mentally, like how do you feel about that? You know, how do you deal with that?
Absolutely. Or even him dealing with the loss of his daughter that passed away. Like, how do you deal with that?
Right.
You know, that's you look like you like Superman to us, but who's the real Mike Tyson? You know, what's behind the veil? What are we not sharing that should be shared?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's such a transparent person. And I think we don't give Mike the credit for being the deep thinker that he is, because he's a deep thinker.
And he's very intelligent. Yeah, he is like almost philosophy.
100%.
Yeah, he's a philosopher. Like, I mean, he studies and knows, like, one of the quotes that I live by to this day that I mention on this podcast, and I always give him credit, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but you do it like you love it.
Right.
That's a Mike Tyson quote. And
wow.
I live by that. When I work
That's a
out,
great one.
I work out, and my Stairmaster is the last part of my workout, and I always think about Mike Tyson. Lou, this is doing what you hate to do, but you got to do it like you love it.
Right.
And I get on there, and I do my 20, 25 minutes. I'm happy, sweating. But I'm like, you know what? This is the discipline that you need to get to. That's the one thing that never escaped me that Mike Tyson said. Like, I live by that.
He's
amazing.
So good. But you know, and you know, I hope you can feel my passion. But I'm passionate about talking about those stories versus, like, you know, shooting Daft Punk and Pharrell together. That was cool. Awesome. I don't even remember the story that well. You know, giving Drake his first magazine cover. That was cool. Honestly, I don't even remember the story like that.
You're not enamored by it like you are with the other stories.
But what the way I'm approaching celebrity now, it fills me up. I feel so full. The work that I'm doing just makes me feel so full.
I'm like itching to tell you what I feel, because we're sharing a passion here, because I built this podcast, this platform, on getting to know the real human being behind who they really are in persona public life. That's where my passion lies. So what you're telling me is really hitting me, because that's exactly why I made this. Case in point, I read all your credentials and what you're doing with Level. We spoke for about half an hour about movies.
Right.
That's the magic. That's the magic. Like, oh, this guy Jermaine loves these movies, man. Oh, he likes... That's where I live. I live in the unknown. Like, you know, I have had people on this podcast and share things they've never shared anywhere else. And these are people that are notable and people recognize them. And people tell me, you know what? That one thing that person said, though, that's why I listen to your podcast. And for me, that's me. The gift that God has given me to be able to speak to people and open up a space of vulnerability for us to have open communication and get to know each other and tell a story. That gives me satisfaction that I'm doing it for the human element. And you're doing the same thing. It's cool. Everybody wants to sit down with a celebrity and get to know them, but the way you're doing it has character, it has class, it has some level that has a level of realness and humanity attached to it. You know what I mean? And I live for that, because that's what I do on this platform. And
the other thing that I want to accomplish is I would love to redefine. I mean, it's already happening, but redefine what a celebrity is. So it's like,
I like that.
Can I, let's have an incredible conversation with Robert Smith, right? Incredible CEO, Black billionaire, has all the credentials in the world. Chances are, I feel like if I go to 9 out of 10 people and be like, hey, give me 10 facts on Robert Smith, they probably won't be able to do it, because he's just not revered in that way. but that dude probably has so much to
Million
say.
stories. Yes, of course.
So much to say.
There's a story in everybody, but unfortunately, celebrity blurs the lines of who you should get versus who you shouldn't get. And again, we're back to sharing a brain. I have sat here with people that have no following, that people think didn't accomplish anything.
Right.
And I hear these stories and I'm just like, wow, it doesn't matter how much money you make, how famous you are, how many degrees you have. What did you experience in life that made you the person you are today? That's it. That's where inspiration lies.
Yep.
And I think leaning into 2026 with what you're doing, it's amazing because we come from a time where everything was so hidden. Like, my favorite rapper was Jay-Z. And gosh, I always wondered what it was like to see how he makes these songs and what he does behind the scenes. But back in the 90s and early 2000s, you had no access to that.
Right.
But now we have way too much access to it. So now I think, and correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, the zeitgeist where it is today is leaning into who the hell are these people? Not what they accomplish.
Right.
But to your point with Mike Tyson, to your point with Usher being a parent in a blended family, those are the conversations that shift. Not how many number ones he's had.
I you know what's fun? And I wanna go back to Leo for like a hot second.
Go ahead. We gonna Leo this out. Talk to me.
Because one of the things that I love about Leo, I don't know who the hell Leonardo DiCaprio is. There's still such a mystique.
There's a mystique to him. Yes, there's a mystique to him.
And it's because he's not on social, like
he's not.
Every single day letting you know what he's doing. And I crave to know who that dude is so bad.
Same. He's like he's like a mystery. He embodies what the 90s were like for celebrities. Like, you didn't know what the hell was going on with them.
No.
And even to this day, I mean, Jay-Z will pop up with a headline here and there, but you're not really seeing much of him either. Same with Eminem. They're just like, they're like artifacts. But I do appreciate that.
Right.
Because it keeps me yearning for more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still hope to this day they can get on a platform, but really get to know them on a human level.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I hope it happens on level.
That's what's so great about your platform, though, because you're providing an opportunity for that to happen. You know, like, there's no way if they're doing their homework, right, on what you do, there's no way they're coming to your podcast to talk about just a film.
Exactly.
You know?
There's way more around it.
Yeah.
And I just heard an interview with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. They have this new movie out called Rip.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you saw it. Not bad. Good film.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's good. It's worth the watch.
Netflix, right?
Netflix.
Okay.
Worth the watch. Like I told you, I watch movies with my wife. She's the biggest critic. She's like, babe, that was a great film. Great movie. Anyway, they say in the interview, you know, we appreciate this more than doing the Access Hollywood and doing the Good Morning New York, Good Morning LA, whatever, because they're so scripted and they're so rigid and tight.
Right.
And it's so orchestrated. Versus on a platform like this, we're going everywhere. There is no restriction. You could be who you want to be. You could be Jermaine. You don't have to have this other version of who you want people to think you are. You can just be yourself. And it's why I tell people all the time, this show, like I have people ask me, well, what are we going to talk about? What is this about? I'm like, 9% who you are, 10% what you do.
Right.
That's what I always tell everybody. And the stories that come out of that are amazing, that I'm honored to, you know, help steer the ship, to give your story some light, to give other people on this platform some light, because it's inspiring. And as I told you earlier, conversations is like a dead art unless you're listening to a podcast.
Right.
So we're doing performance live art right now for people that probably are scared to have a voice, probably have your same makeup, but are scared to take a chance. And they're going to hear your story now. Man, you know what? Jermaine did it. I could do this. That's what I do.
That's it. That's it.
Come on.
That is it
That is
right
it.
there.
That is it, man. That's why I resonate. What you're telling me resonates so much with me on a deeper level. It's like I feel you.
Yeah.
Like real talk. I feel what you're saying, and the passion you have. It oozes out of your body like a perfume, like a scent. It's just you feel it. You know what I mean?
I want Black men to be the best version of themselves, and if any way that I could help with that process,
Yes.
I want to help with that process.
Yes, 1,000%. The mental health is huge. The health. You're talking to a guy that grew up eating fried food every day.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, God bless her. I mean, she's still alive, but we didn't have the education. She was a hardworking woman that just made salty potatoes and eat all the chips you want, all the Oreos. And,
Right.
I blew up to 330 and I lost all that weight after the fact because I had to educate myself. The reason why level is so important is because there is another person out there just like me that probably doesn't have the keys or education, and you can provide that for them. You can give them that stepping stone.
Yeah, we do. We have a newsletter. It's called G Code, and
G-Code,
it comes
like
out every Tuesday. And the thing that makes me smile the most about that newsletter is the stories that get clicked on. It's the health pieces. It's technology pieces. Pieces on parenting. And I'm just like, yes.
That's it. That's it. That's
Yes.
where we need to be at. That is where we are. We're there. We want to help and collaborate now more than ever. And let's stop the minutia of this and that. Let's just be a human race together and let's help and elevate one another. It's that simple, man. It's not rocket science. And I was naive for the most, again, Puerto Rican kid from Newark, raised in Elizabeth. And where I live now, I'm very privileged. I'm thankful. But, I went to a place with my wife. This was like maybe a year ago. And the food was so good there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never give them any promotion, except that the food is good, but you don't know what food I'm talking about. And we sat at the bar. 5 minutes. No one's said hi to me or my wife. No one's given me a menu. 10 minutes.
Wow.
Like we're ghosts. I almost felt like going like this.
Right.
And we're sitting at the bar. And the lady is just like, hey, what do you want, Hank? Giving beers. And you want to talk about pain, man?
That's crazy.
It was one of the most eye-opening moments for me. Because my wife is she's the velvet glove, I'm the iron fist.
Uh-huh.
So my reaction was to get back to like Elizabeth, New Jersey, Lou. You know what I mean? And like really, get into that mode. And I'm like, nope. And my wife was like, babe, let's just get up and leave. It's fine.
Right.
Don't worry about it. And I guess I was so naive because I grew up with a diverse bunch of friends and I never felt that before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hurtful, but it was real. And I had to sit with that and say, man, if they took a second to get to know me and my wife, they would love us. But they chose to not do that because of their own ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't let their ignorance define my attitude. I'm better than that.
100%.
So, and it just made me feel like, man, why does it have to be like this?
Yeah. It's tricky. It's really tricky with race. My kids are, my kids are biracial. Their mother is Jewish. And, there was a point where like Jordan, I said when he first this is my older son, when he turned about 12, 13, he was like wearing hoodies and like riding around with his friends in town. And, I had to sit him down and I was just like, look, listen, just know that you might, you may not be perceived the same way as you're friends because you are a certain color.
Correct.
And you dress a certain way, but you're walking around this town that they don't have a lot of views. You look way different to them. And I think it went through one air, and I think it came out the next. You know, he was just like, Dad, whatever.
Yeah.
And a couple months later, this is so funny, because this speaks to, we were just talking about how like our kids don't like learn from what we're saying.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah, you want them to learn off your mistakes.
A couple months later, a cop, he was riding around the town on his bike, right? This was like 2 a.m. in the morning. Someone called the cops on him. The cops brought him to my home, right? Him and another friend of his. And I was like, you're bringing him here. Why though? Like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's 2 a.m. It's late. I guess I get that. But what did they actually do?
Exactly.
For you to bring him here. But you know, it was fine. Situation wasn't that big of a deal. But you know, after that I was able to have a conversation with my son and was like, remember what I told you?
What did he say?
He was like, yeah, I get it.
Now he gets it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man, just like be aware of your surroundings and know the town that you live in.
And it's, again, I feel that now because of what I went through, but my good heart, I think, overrode my ignorance, because I do feel that everyone has some goodness in them. I really do feel that. And if we can just tap into that and just be human, we can all get along great. You know, but when I felt that pushback, I wanted to just like, you know what I'm saying? It was a weird feeling. It was super weird. But you know what, man? I can just continue to be who I am, not let that shake me. And just, you know, we talked about platforms, Level, my podcast. Hopefully conversations that we're having right now can open up that to other people that are naive to it.
I hope.
I hope too. Trust me, we need it. Jermaine, before I get you out of here, brother, I have a couple mastermind questions I ask everybody that comes on. These are fast answers. Don't overthink it.
Okay.
All right. Just, you know, get to know you a little bit better. Okay.
Yep.
What book have you read that inspired you the most?
Ooh, the most. Woo.
And I'm going to write it down because you said you a reader. I write down every book people tell me.
I feel like this is not going to be a popular answer, but I'm going to explain it.
Okay.
2 books. There's 2 books.
Okay.
One is Graydon Carter's biography.
Graydon Carter?
Yep. Graydon Carter was the editor-in-chief of Vanity Fair for a very long time.
Okay.
You know, so all through the 90s, early 2000s, all the way up to you know, the mid 2010s. But, you know, Graydon is really responsible for, I think, landing Vanity Fair in Hollywood and getting them to be as pivotal as they now are. You know, and like the Vanity Fair Hollywood party, like the Oscar party.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
like
a
a
big
big
to
deal.
do.
Yeah.
Like that's his brainchild. Like he's the one who made that happen. He's also he's a brilliant journalist and fantastic EIC. And I read this book and I was just, I was so inspired by like all the pitfalls that he had to go through, because he's, like he does, like VF is, at the time he was running it anyway, it's like really high level journalism. They were doing a lot of investigative pieces, but like like real stuff.
Right.
A lot, heavy into politics as well, and breaking a lot of news, which is really hard to do with a monthly magazine
versus a weekly or daily.
So reading that was very inspirational for me. But then there is another book. It's called The Rise. Oh, man, it's The Rise of something. But that book it's about the history of Condé Nast.
Who's Condé Nast?
Condé Nast is the company it's the parent company for like GQ, Vogue,
Oh,
Vanity
okay.
Fair. Who
I see
else
what
do
you
they
mean.
have?
Okay.
And it tells the story of Cy Newhouse, how the like Newhouse family acquired Condé Nast. And the thing that I love about that book, it shows how Cy was able to play chess, not checkers,
Mm.
but chess with all of his EICs to motivate them to be the best EIC they could be, to be the best publication within the portfolio. It was freaking fascinating,
Really?
man.
Talk about strategy.
It was so fascinating. And just, seeing the magazine part, Conde, the magazine part of the business, it was the business that made the least amount of money
Really?
in their portfolio, but had the most clout.
Gotcha.
Obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's normally how it works, right? Like the things are not as successful, but have the most shift in culture or clout in the space. That's what wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I mentioned those two books because I don't know if you heard, but Will Welch, who was the last EIC at GQ, he just announced that he was leaving and he's going to go do something with Pharrell, which I can't wait to see what that is, because I think Will is a brilliant mind, and I think sits in old world and new world journalism, and that's really hard to do. So I'm sure what him and Pharrell are gonna do.
And what Pharrell's doing with LV is gonna, it's ridiculous.
So, I had a lot of people hit me up, and they were just like, "Hey, man, like, we've always seen you as like the person who should be EIC at GQ, and like GQ is probably like my favorite publication of all time, right?
GQ, man,
and and the reason why I mentioned those two books, I was like, you know what? If you guys read those books, you guys would see that that's not a real possibility. And that's that's a heavy statement.
Wow.
To say, but when you see how Condé works, at least from the books that I read, right? Like I've never worked there, so I don't know. But like those two books that I've read, I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, like I could never be that.
I see what you mean. Wow, it's almost like a cautionary, so to speak, of what you couldn't be, but what you could aspire to be.
I think it's very clear on like the archetype that they had, the person that they have that they need for that role.
For that role.
Yeah.
But you said you couldn't be that.
Mm-mm.
Why is that?
Because I'm not white.
Gosh. Wow. Really? So he comes.
Yeah.
See, that's the part I'm talking about the whole just human thing. Why is it because of that? You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. And by the way, like I like
it gets me riled up when I think about it, man.
Maybe I'm interpreting those two books the wrong way. I don't think so though.
No, because
I think
you're a pretty smart guy.
Yeah, I don't think so. And it's probably, it's a disheartening thing to say, but I love to live in reality.
I know what you mean.
I much rather live in reality than spin my wheels trying to get to something that's not realistic.
I understand. I understand. I deal with that too, where I'm like, I feel like I can just shift everything to be how I want it to be, but sometimes it's not like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to just feel the truth, grin and bear it, move on, know who you are. But I really do wish that it would be different. I really do.
Yeah.
You know?
I hope I'm wrong, by the way. Like,
No, I hope you're wrong too,
Yeah.
because I have the most, listen, it's my own like insecurity. Like I have the most generic Spanish name, Luis Guzman. I mean, besides the actor, you know,
Right.
Luis Guzman. It's just like, I used to joke with my parents, like, y'all couldn't got more creative. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's the photographer I told you about that works here with us, Ludwig. He's Dominican and he's named after Beethoven. I'm like, that's dope. Like, why couldn't you call me like Michelangelo Guzman? Like, that would have been fire. You know what I mean? Like, I got stuck. Like, you want to talk about your name follows you, like, oh, Luis Guzman. All right, just another basic. But, you know, I get it. I wish people seen things through the lens of open-mindedness, but unfortunately, we have to live in reality, like you say.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully we make a change.
100%.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know Anna Wintour well. But there's a piece of me that kind of feels like maybe Anna makes that switch one day. I don't know.
We'll see. I heard great things about her. So,
yeah.
They made the Devil Wears Prada about her, right? That movie?
Yeah. There's a part 2 coming out this year.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Everything's getting filmed in Jersey. Let me give you a couple more here, brother. We'll get you out of here, man. What person in your life has brought you the most influence?
The most influence. It's also going to be an unpopular answer. But I'll explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Most influential.
It's a tough one, right?
I've got 2 different answers for that. Can I give you 2 different answers? Okay, so the first person I would say is Mike Lupica, because Mike Lupica,
the writer from ESPN.
Yeah,
I love Mike.
Yeah,
I met him in person. Heck of a guy. Wow.
I would say Mike is 1A, because Mike is the person who really put me on this journalism path. I was just like, man, I love what this guy does for a living.
That is such a great answer.
And
wow.
Yeah, and you know, when I first caught the journalism bug, like, you know, I wanted to be a sports journalist. I wanted to do sports journalism, and because I was like, man, Mike's awesome at this.
And he's GOAT.
Yeah, and I was just like, you know, and you know, his column in the paper is amazing. Then the work that he's doing on ESPN on the sports reporters is fantastic.
Amazing.
Like
amazing.
The way he would sum up, you know, that last part of some of sports reporters where they all kind of like gave their opinion on something very specific. I was just like, this dude's so amazing at that.
He's a beast.
He's so good at it. But then I interned before Vibe. Then I interned at this newspaper, the Greenwich Times, and I was on the sports beat. And after doing that sports beat, I was like, oh yeah, I could never be Mike Lupica, because this, I hate this.
He's a beast. It's a hard gig too.
Yeah, this is a hard gig. This is really hard.
Wow.
Mike
Lupica, man.
So I think Mike is one, and then, you know, the second person I would say who inspired me, you know, before what we've seen happen over the last couple of years. Like, you know, I think a lot of us were really inspired by Sean Combs.
Oh, yeah. Hot take.
I think we were.
Yeah.
You know, I think his drive and his belief in himself, his ability to take the art form to such incredible heights was like really, really inspiring.
It was. No,
You know, unfortunately, terrible person.
Yeah, I know. I
Like really terrible individual.
it sucks that sometimes the terrible person gets overridden by their greatness, and people just tend to just not look at the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
But they're geniuses, but they just don't know how to be like a normal functioning person outside of that. And it's wild when you start to break it down. Like someone that had so much influence in the culture that literally made it like billionaire status, liquor companies, clothing companies, record labels, etc., movies. Like he was the face for a long time. And to find out all this was happening behind the scenes, it is one of the most, for me, like me growing up in the culture and listening to hip hop music and being inspired by it, I feel like a piece of me died when I heard about that news. Because you grew up listening and being inspired to be like that person.
When I saw that video of him and Cassie on CNN, like, yeah,
sad.
That was death. That was it.
But it hurts because it's a black eye on the culture too. It gives them another reason to say, "Oh, you see,
100%."
You know, and to me, it hurts because being inspired by that and motivated by it and being close to it, to know that this person you looked up to was living the most disgusting life behind the curtain. It's like, why? Like, why did you have to do all that? It's mad extra. Like,
yeah.
You did not have to be like that, you know? But
there's Danielle Smith, who was Danielle, one of the editor-in-chiefs of Vibe, probably she's probably, in my opinion, she's probably the best EIC of Vibe. And she held that title two different times. But Danielle wrote a piece for the New York Times, and the piece was on, you know, she had done a Puff cover. It was like the two different covers where he was like an angel and the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So an A and B cover, I think Sasha Jenkins, God bless the dead. Sasha wrote the story. But she talks about how aggressive, you know, Puff was wanting to see the cover before it went to print, and you know, was like threatening her.
I heard the story. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's that's not okay.
It's like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? It's the narcissism. It's the sociopathy, whatever you want to call it, sociopath. It's the enabling. It's the constant award for, you are this person, so we're going to award you and yes man you to death. I think it's a combination of all that. It's like a very toxic concoction of enabling over the years that give these people that power, that think they can do what they want to people that don't deserve it. And it's sad because that's such a high position. It's like finding out Obama's like that.
Right,
you know what I mean? It's like, damn.
Right. Could you imagine? Oh my God.
But that's the vibe. It's like, that's the vibe. Like, you know, we talked about Leo. Shout out to Leonardo DiCaprio. That's like finding out Leonardo DiCaprio's like that. You know what I mean? Yo, Leo, you better watch this interview, man, because we gave you a lot of free press. Oh man.
So yeah, I would say, I'd say those are, you know, Mike Lupica definitely one, and then, you know, for a certain amount of time, you know, I think Puff was very like inspirational.
Sean Combs,
for me wanting to be like the best, you know, striving to be the best at what I do.
You just made me think of something, and correct me if I'm wrong. You might know this. Was it true that when Biggie died, there was supposed to be the cover for Biggie, but Puff wanted it to be about his album, No Way Out? I think that was Vibe. Or was
so
it?
it was Rolling Stone.
It was Rolling Stone.
And
Sorry. Yeah.
and
My bad.
and
Yep.
the Rolling Stone editors actually chimed in and they said like, no, that was never
Oh,
that was never a
wow.
thing. Like we
That was
never offered Big a cover.
So it was all hearsay.
Yeah, and I think also just like like when I saw that part of the documentary, just just knowing the way that magazines operate and like how magazine making works, like that's just like not. That's not how it works.
It's not how it works.
Yeah.
Gotcha, man. I was just curious. I was like, that's this is. I wanted to know, but you cleared it up for me because when I heard that, I was like, man, like talking about somebody that's on a tyrannical takeover. He's just trying to do everything. You know what I mean? I got one more for you, and we'll get you out of here, Jermaine. This one always gets everybody, so I hope you got a good answer. What's the last thing you've purchased that changed your life?
Oh, that's a good one.
We gotta do a part 2, man.
Damn, that's a good one. Holy moly. That is real. Let me think for a second.
That's
the
a good
last
one,
thing
right?
that I purchased
It gets everybody.
that changed my life.
I think the quickest answer took about 30 seconds. Quickest.
Really? That changed my life. Man, because we buy so much bullshit. Versus things that actually mean something.
Correct.
That changed my life. Oh. Oh man.
Got him.
Because honestly, I feel like it's probably like something that's like not even like a recent purchase. It's like probably something from like the 90s. Where like it actually changed
Your life. Like I always tell people because they ask me like, oh, but what about you? I never changed my answer. It was the same since the first time somebody asked me. My wedding ring. Because when my wife came into my life, it was just everything changed for the better. So I'll never forget when I got this, the wedding ring. It was just like, and
That's a really good one.
no, and it was. Let me just add context to that because people always think it's my wedding ring. She actually brought my wedding ring.
Right.
So I got the engagement ring. So when I brought that engagement ring, that changed my life.
Wow.
You can't steal mine.
That's a good that's a really good one. That's a really good one. It's like I'm trying to think of something that ties into my kids because like that's like I don't know, that's like my kids are like my North Star.
Gotcha.
I feel like everything that I do is because of my two boys.
I love that.
But there's nothing that I've actually purchased for them where like you know what I mean? Where like I'm just like, oh yeah, this has been like life changing. Say, I would like, one of the gifts that I look back on and I don't know, this is like, it's less a gift. It was less a gift for them and more a gift for me. Honestly.
Talk to me.
But getting both of my kids a 529 has proven to be really, really helpful.
Now, 529, you mean camera or what is that? I'm sorry for my ignorance.
It's a college fund. 529.
Oh, okay. Hello.
That's proven to be really helpful.
Awesome, man.
I would say.
I didn't even know what that is. And thank you for putting me on game. 529.
Someone put me on the game.
See, now wow.
Back
Thank
then,
you.
they were just like, do it now. By the time your kid is 18 and they're ready to go to college, not saying that it'll pay for all 4 years, but
It will help.
you'll be able to pay a good amount of it.
I mean, honestly, I think that's a beautiful answer. I mean, that's something that you got into early, and it's definitely going to change their lives just as much as it's changed yours.
Yeah, like when Jordan, because so Jordan started applying for colleges last year, and we started visiting schools the year before his junior year. And every time I would hear how much the school cost, I would just be like, for 1 year of college? That is
It's ridiculous.
bizarre. What are we talking about? So it's like, essentially what we're saying is like, if your kid, like, let's say your kid, no scholarship, just like your kid's leaving college with like $400,000 in debt. Like,
that's a way
that's
backwards.
bananas to me.
Yeah, you're starting them on the wrong foot right at college.
That sounds crazy.
So that's why the 529 is such an impact.
529 is super helpful.
Dude, that's actually, I mean, for the listeners,
And
that's
start it right away.
please,
ASAP. Right when they're born,
right.
Start it.
My sister-in-law, Charlize, her daughter, she just turned, God, bad uncle, man, 4. So she's 4. I'm gonna put her up on that because that's big. I pride myself on being financially educated, and I didn't even know about that. So pardon my ignorance when I thought because cameras, 347, you know what I mean? So I'm sorry I didn't know what that was, but that's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's
it's like, it's not a gift that I gave to them. It's really, like I said, it's really more a gift. It ends up being a gift for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it does inflict some type of change for their lives.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's beautiful answer, man. Wow, Jermaine, what a ride.
This was awesome. God, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I mean, we got to do it again soon because there was so many other questions I wanted to ask you, but we can table it for next time. But just to get to know you now as a person, it makes me appreciate more of the work you've done.
You know what I love about this interview? And you said it, so I should have been expecting it coming in. We didn't really talk that much about like what I do. And I love that because similar to like me asking those questions to like those the talent that we speak to, like sometimes you just don't want to speak about all the stuff that, you do.
Yeah, it's the low hanging fruit, right? It's like that's the easy stuff to talk about. Let's do. And I don't like to structure I don't call it an interview. I call it a conversation. I don't like to structure my conversations like that. Yeah. I like us to go where the wind blows. That's it. There's no structure. And I think a lot of that is credited to my curiosity because you might say something, and I've gotten better at it because I'm notorious for stopping people and just saying like I'll just say, it's a nice shirt. Where'd you get that shirt? I'm wild. Right. I'll just go, you know what I mean? But it's because I've learned to ignore everything here. It doesn't exist to me.
Right.
This is what exists.
This is right.
This is not here. That's not here. I'm just like, I'm so zoned into what we're doing that it almost feels like an outer body experience. It feels like I'm outside of my body and here watching us talk. And sometimes it's hard to get into that because I've sat down with people that I've looked up to that I never thought would be sitting in my chair.
Right.
Like, and it's wild. Like I had a couple weeks, Renee Graziano from My Wife, she was here. And she's a wild one. I love her to death. Shout out to Renee. And we're talking and she's almost crying. And I had that outer body moment. Like, this is Renee. I used to watch her show and she's here being very vulnerable with me. Whoa, this is crazy.
Wow.
But that's what I live for, man. I live for, when I had Cuban Link on, he spoke about coming over from the Madielito, the Cuban boat lift, and how he was 5-6 years old seeing sharks in the ocean, seeing a guy go overboard and get eaten and the water turn red.
Oh my God.
Wild.
What?
Yeah. Like, and I mean, that wasn't orchestrated. I just said to him, "Tu Madelito." That means, oh, were you part of the boat lift? And he just, and it's that one. I mean, it's got over 100,000 views already. Just that one clip. Because
crazy.
No one ever knew.
Yeah.
They knew he came from Cuba, but they didn't know like he spoke about it like a movie. Like he was on the boat with rapists, killers, drug dealers. Hearing the sharks hit the boat in the middle of the night at 3 a.m, it's pitch black.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, I'm blessed to have people like you, people like Cuban and, Renee, whoever that comes here and just come as you are, man. Hat in hand. Let's talk.
Let's chop it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man. And I appreciate you, respecting. See, because you're like me as far as a creative, and I went to school for journalism too, so I feel you on that. I wanted to be a writer so bad for hip hop. My goal was to be a XXL writer, right? Or the Source. Which now I look back, I'm like, but that was my goal, and I thought, okay, let me be a rapper so I can work my way into the magazine or whatever. Like, so I tried all those things, but my point was always to tell the story the way it's supposed to be told, with no filter, no BS. Just get to know the person.
Right.
And I think I'm accomplishing that, and you're doing that as well.
You're doing an incredible job. You're killing it.
Thank you. That means a lot, especially coming from someone like you that's been in the trenches and has gone through the ladder and has gotten all this esteem and all these accolades. Man, thank you, man, because that makes me feel better that I'm on the right path.
This is hard to do. This is not easy to do. It's not easy. Really, really hard to do.
Yeah. And this is me, like, I had no questions. Look, I'll be honest with you. Look, questions, nothing. I just go off the flow.
Off the flow,
man.
Yeah.
I used to be very scripted, and it was so boring. It was like, I feel like I'm just like corny. You know what I mean? Like, this is whack. I want to freestyle, and it comes back to my creativeness. I learned how to rap by freestyling. I would never write nothing down, and it became second nature. So I'm not used to being structured. I like the flow of curiosity and see where it goes, man. So, man, this was a ride, man.
This was great.
Jermaine,
thank you for having me.
No, thank you, man. Before we get out of here, please, man, one last shot at the camera. Let everybody know where they can find you, what you're working on, level. Give them the whole 360, man.
Oh, absolutely, man. So, levelman.com is the URL. Level Mag on Instagram. Level Mag also on TikTok. And then, the big thing that I'm really excited about this year is, we're doing this thing called Level 10. And it's our first foray into doing experiential.
Okay.
The idea is we're going to pick 10 men across industries, no celebrities, just like really high performing men.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to shoot 10 covers with them.
That's fire.
And then we're going to have an awards dinner.
Oh, nice.
For those 10. So honoring those 10 men. And then the third part of the execution is we're going to do our first physical product. So, we're going to do like a one-off mag to go with that.
Beautiful.
Go with that execution.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it come out. Seriously, man.
Yeah, it's happening in June to coincide with Father's Day.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm super excited about it.
You're working, man.
I'm super excited about it.
That's what we need. It's just constantly just pushing the culture forward and giving the flowers to those that not always have to be celebrities, but just the highly driven goal setters that we don't hear about.
Yeah, I bring up Robert Smith's name a lot because he is really the archetype. He's the type of person that I really want to give praise to and put the spotlight on, and I want us to be equally as proud about the things someone like him is accomplishing, just as proud as we are as like what Jay-Z is doing.
Correct.
That's what I want for us.
And your vision is here. It's coming to life, and it's going to continue to evolve. And I'm excited for it, man. Godspeed to you, man. Much more success. And Jermaine, you're a gift to the culture, man.
Appreciate it.
Don't stop doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
Thank you, man. It was a pleasure meeting you. Appreciate you, man.
Sir.
Until next time.
Sir.
Guys, as a wrap on this episode of I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman podcast. If this podcast inspired or moved you in any way, please subscribe to our Apple, Spotify, and YouTube platforms by typing in Luis Guzman, I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman, and clicking that subscribe button. Please make sure to follow my Instagram handle at I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman for further content and updates. I am thankful for every listener. I pray you have a blessed one, not a stressful one.
I need you by my side.